Evening sim racing fans, and welcome to the Talladega Super Speedway for the iSuperSpeedway Dump Car Racing Series Race of Champions live on LSRTV and iRacing Live. And we're happy to have you with us for the third round of 4 on this Season 6 overall championship. But for the IROC guys coming into this, looking to crown a 5th champion, and it is a brand new race car and a little bit of a different look that we're going to be seeing for the second half of this championship. We'll explain it all in a minute, but first I want to welcome you into the LSRTV broadcast booth. As always, alongside of myself, Evan Pasoko, joined by Andy Kessler, Cisco Scaramouza downstairs. Last time we saw these guys, they were in the COT, the Jet 5s, Indy. That is not going to work anymore because iRacing took the restrictor plates off of those race cars. We could throw them out there at 255 miles an hour. It would not work. So a little bit of discussion internally. It is now going to be with the B cars. So basically you got the NASCAR Xfinity Series cars on track, and these have a lot more control on the racetrack, much like we talked about when these guys drove the COTs, than versus what they're going to be seeing here on track later tonight in the Gen 6 cars. They're able to push a lot more. They're able to do a lot more with these cars, and I think it's going to be an exciting 38 laps of competition tonight.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And with only about 13 guys in the sim here for this race, 13 champions, I should say, that this should be a lot of fun with these cars. Like you said, they have a lot more control of these cars. They draft really well together. You can get right up on that bumper and push around this racetrack. So I think we should see a lot of exciting racing, although it would be fun to see them going around here at about 260.
So they're doing a little bit of updraft practice now because, as always, standard procedure for the iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions qualifying does not take place before the race. You can see all the drivers out there with their iSuperSpeedway paint schemes on the cars. The numbers are going to correlate with more so than not where they're going to be starting on the grid for tonight's competitions. You do have the Chevrolets, the Fords, the Toyotas on track, and right now you got a good 5-car pack working, and they're beating and banging on each other, I think, a little bit more than what they're going to do, at least in the opening laps of the race, but I think it does give you a good sense how physical these guys can get. They're testing the issues, and that is about the limit that you don't want to step over. We mentioned that it's the third round, Eddie, of 4 in the IROC. It is the Season 4 IROC Championship. Josh Ball going to take the alternative method down at turn number 3. We've been through 2 rounds already. We've been to Daytona for 40 laps. We've also been to the Daytona 07 circuit earlier in the year with the COT cars for 40 laps as well. So now we come into tonight, event number 3, 38 laps at Talladega. These guys going to be back on track one more time between now and the iSuperSpeedway Championship in a couple of months for 40 laps at Daytona as the final one on the season. But where we sit now is with Christian Peterson at the top of the pile, and Christian Peterson in tonight's race, but he'll be starting towards the back of the pack. He's only 3 points ahead of Seth the Merchant, Matt Quick, Frank Basilia, Brandon Chaburko inside the top 5. You have to look down to 7th position before you find defending champion Rod Flagg. The problem there is, well, he's only 9 spots back, so he's still in this competition tonight. The driver's going to get set to hit the track. We'll toss things down trackside for tonight's opening ceremonies. Down with Jaden Berkey for the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet
A big thanks to the virtual Thunderbirds for the flyover, and again, as always, to Jaden Berkey for singing tonight's national anthem. Let's take a look trackside at your LSRTV starting grid for the IROC Season 4 Championship, round number 3, and the lone race that takes place right here in Talladega, Alabama. Shane McKeechan's itching to go. The number 1 machine going to start from pole position. He'll be joined on the front row by the number 2 Ford of Frank Basilia. Trina Jamerko inside to row number 3. The number 3 Chevrolet sits alongside the number 4 Josh Ball, who's going to start feed 4 to the outside of row 2. And Rodney Wofford in the 5 can round out your top 5.
Starting 6 tonight, that'll be Ray Rittenauer. Matt Quick in the 7 will start 7. Chris Bassini sits 8th, 9th was the 7th Murphy. Ron Flag will start 10th.
Behind him, the number 11 position on track, going to go to the number 12 of Christian Peterson. Behind in 12th position, going to be the 13 of Corey Henry. 14th tonight is going to be behind the wheel of the 14, Dan Harrington. He's actually going to be up in the number 13 spot. Ryan Keese, the number 16, is going to start in 14th position. So the offset by 2 numbers in comparison to front to back means a possible 2 entries tonight did not take the grid. And it looks like it is going to be a 14-car field start to finish. So I mentioned Rod Flag at 7th in the championship. It sounds like a long ways away. You look at the number, you think 9 points is not a lot. It really is. In a field of 14 cars, you've got 2 races to get the job done. If you want to join the likes of Greg Hook, Season 1 champion, and Rod Flag, Season 2, Season 3, and as well, your defending champion, a 2-time IROC title taker, the only driver in iSuperSpeedway, and it's in the IROC series, to have multiple series championships. Tonight, going to line us up for the season finale in a couple of weeks. It's a brand new race car, and really a brand new series with just 2 races to go on a calendar year, and we're about to get it kicked off. We're happy to have you with us at LSRTV and iRacing Live. The pace car dives down to the safety of pit road, and they're all going to follow the number 1 Toyota Camry of Shane McKeechan, rounding through the tribal. Green flag flies it underway from Talladega.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun here tonight with these cars and the ability for these guys to bump draft. And we don't see it too much anymore in the Gen 6 cars. You might see 3 or 4 guys really locked up to each other's bumpers in this race here tonight. So it should be a lot of fun, a lot of speed, and you might see a lot of cars maybe getting out of shape. But these cars, they can handle them pretty good. And you can see that top side right there on the go here off of turn number 2. And that number 2 of Frank Busilia is actually going to pull out just a little bit here. Not quite clear, though. He's going to try maybe to duck down there into turn number 3. He does. He'll take over that top spot on the bottom lane. That leaves the 4, Josh Ball, now to lead the outside.
And a big bobble on the inside of the racetrack, Shane McKeechan. I think he gave Frank Basilia a break as the 2 came down, but it got him all out of shape. And kudos to the 3 of Chaburko for recognizing that, back it off just a little bit, and allowed the 1 to regain control of his race car. Doesn't mean we're settling things down, though. All that for nothing. Frank Basilia not even going to lead lap number 1. That goes to the driver that started P4, Josh Ball. Outside of the racetrack with a push from Ray Rittenauer, had the nose in front. Now the inside pulls a half a car length advantage.
Yeah, they pull slight advantage here. Looks like they're lined up pretty well right there. Look at that 3 car, been up on that back bumper of the 1 of Shane McKeechan this whole time, and that's been helping that bottom line at least secure that position from Josh Ball right now. The 8, though, Chris Bassini jumps out of line on the high side there. He's going to let a couple guys go, maybe a little too hot, or maybe just not comfortable maybe with the way these cars feel. Look at the 1 right there down to the bottom in the apron. Got loose there off turn number 4. Kind of an interesting thing as we go 3 wide for the lead.
These Xfinity cars can do this in 3 wide at lap number 2. Second consecutive lap led by Josh Ball. He'll slide down over the nose of the number 2 of Frank Basilia, who at the same time came down from that middle lane. In front of the 1, he goes to the inside of the 4. The door going to be shut. Brendan Chaburko sideways, and somehow he'll hang on to that Chevrolet Camaro. Should have been big jump coming off of the second turn. A spectacular save, going to lose him tons of time, but that could have been a lot worse if that 3 kept drifting down the hill like it looked like it was going to.
I can't believe he didn't even hit the wall right there. That was just an unbelievable save by that driver, the number 3, Chaburko. Just what an awesome job right there. But we can already see these cars, how out of shape they can get rather easily here as that number 4, Josh Ball, looking to lead another lap here on that outside. So I think we're seeing a trend as well, maybe that outside lane being the preferred lane here. As they go 3 wide once again, the 6 of Ray Rittenauer gets pushed up to the outside as Josh Ball drops to the bottom. Josh Ball will lead that off the bottom there. But look at that top side, a pretty big run. Corey Henry giving a push to Rod Flagg. Rod Flagg looking for the lead.
And a big run. They go down the Alabama gang back straight away. Momentum in favor to the 11 and the 13 on the outside of the racetrack. But again, if you can't get cleared before you get down to turn 3, or if you're coming through the front straightaway before turn 1, you're going to have to build that momentum back up. There's a lot of pushing going on, even more so I think than what we saw in the COT cars.
No, absolutely. I think we're seeing even more pushing it through the corners, which is, I think technically, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's a rule in the league that you can't push through the corner. So I think just the suck up on these cars is so great that these guys maybe not so used to it as much that they end up giving a little bump through the corners. And I think that's why we're seeing a few guys getting loose as well, too, especially on corner exit. But pretty good job on that bottom side that time. Timed it just right, that 2 of Frank Busilia. Look at the 5, though, all over the place. Rodney Wofford. Now the outside lane looking for a 3 wide action again in turn 3.
They're liking the 3 wide, and this lead pack now down to 9 cars. Brandon Chiburko fell back. He's running right now with Matt Quick and Chris Piscini. And in fact, Chiburko with damage now is going to drop out of this race as looks like the rest of the field begins to pull away from him. But we are 3 wide, 3 rows deep on the top and the bottom, 2 sandwiched in between. The 4 going to go to the outside of the racetrack, trying to take that momentum away, and he ends up giving away the inside. He's able to come back down in front of Rod Flagg, who was the lone driver in that middle lane. But top side, you got Peterson, followed by DeMerchant, followed by the one Shade of McKeechin, and right on board through some of the chaos.
Hey, right on board right now. Look at that. Look at that amazing view from Rod Flagg's car right there. 3 wide, 2 rows deep, almost 3 rows deep right there for the race lead. And I like that 12 and the 10 up on the top side. Christian Peterson, Seth the Merchant working well together up on that high side. We know they work well together to begin with, but they've been working that high side, trying to make something happen up there. And so far, they're going to have to settle down now back into that middle lane as Josh Ball looks to lead another lap here on the outside. He's got the help, though, of that 11, Rod Flagg.
And a quick peek to the rule book does confirm that rules in the IROC Championship, just as they are in later on in the evening for the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series, is you cannot bump draft in the corners, as in locking the bumpers and continuously pushing. The rule states, quote for quote, that drivers are not allowed to bump draft in the corner or in the tri-oval. The tri-oval, many consider it a 5th turn at Talladega, not on the track map, 4 turns, 34 degrees of banking, but they can't stay locked on each other. If we haven't seen it already, I can promise you we'll see it later in this one. How about 4 wide? To the inside goes the 2. They're going to fan out to the tri-oval at a race that is start-finish line. Going to be 1 on the inside by Basilia, the outside Rod Flagg. Just 2 100s back into 5 of Wofford. Wants to get out of there as soon as he can.
That was unbelievable right there. Rod Flagg doing a great job on that outside lane, getting that position away. He went out, stepped out in front of that 12 of Christian Peterson to get away from Josh Ball and ended up giving him that position as they continue to run 3 wide now for that race lead. I think they need to run these cars next also, Evan. I don't think they need to stay away from the Gen 6. These things are putting on a great show.
These things have a lot better handling. They like to sit flat on the racetrack, and they don't bounce up and down. They don't go side to side. They go inside to side. Look at the move by the 1, sliding to the inside. Shane McKeechin just about takes the front fascia off the 5 machine. Rodney Wofford. It's 4 cars at the bottom, 2 in the middle, 2 on the top. Now the one going to go right back to the outside of the racetrack. The problem is here when you're 3 wide, Shane McKeechin can't go anywhere. Any of the track's blocked, so he's going all over the place trying to find some momentum.
Yeah, he's just getting such a good run with the draft. He just has nowhere to take it. Look at the 10 of Seth the Merchant. Give that push to Josh Ball down the back straightaway. It's going to allow both of those guys to clear that bottom lane. What an awesome job right there by those 2 guys, getting up there like they did. And I'll tell you what, that's a lot of speed there. Josh Ball, though, going to move back up to the outside. Here comes Pasini in the 1. He's going to say, nope, or excuse me, McKeechin. I'm so used to saying Pasini in the 1, but there's Shane McKeechin there to the outside. And he had such a good run on that 4. He didn't want to waste it right there. Now, look at the 11. Oh, my God. These guys are all over the place. I don't even know what to say.
You give them a race car that they could have some fun with, and this is what you get. 3 wide, non-stop. And we're just now, by the way, past quarter distance in this 38-lap affair. They've been 3 wide since lap number 2, and a lot of movement that time. Coming off the corner, the 4 to the outside. He tries to shut the door. The 1 gonna block the 4, who blocked the 12. They're splitting 3 lanes down the back straightaway. And Shane McKeechin, earlier we were just talking about how he couldn't go anywhere. He's in the race lead at lap 10.
Wow. Maybe we should just let people watch this, Evan. I mean,
Yeah.
this is just
I
absolutely
kind of want to
amazing.
get out there.
I mean, I want to be out there. I'm not the best race car driver out there. Oh, the 4 in trouble. Makes contact with the 13 and 2 cars around on the front stretch. 4 just lost it right there. That's Josh Ball in the 4, a former iSuperSpeedway Cup Series champion right there. Right there. Finally, somebody lost it.
Got a little bit of a push on the left rear quarter panel from behind. And, you're in the middle of the triangle, but the car's really unsettled, and it stepped up the hill a couple of times. It came down. I think the 6 might have gotten a little bit of damage. Josh Ball, in fact, does a really good job of spinning that car out and not getting into anybody, not going up into the outside of fence. Not as good news, I think, for the innocent victim and all of that. The 13 of Corey Henry, who got hit in the passenger side door. He'll spin to the inside of the racetrack and bounce off the safer barrier with some pretty severe rear end damage on his Chevrolet. And just like that, for the first time, we run under the caution flag. 11 drivers of the 12 that started this one that were still on track were basically in that battle. We mentioned Brandon Chiburko, who possibly avoided a 6 or 7 car accident with a spectacular save in turn 2 earlier. He has since taken it to the garage. His night is done. Ryan Keys, Dan Harrington did not make the cut to start this race, so they did not take the grid in 14th and 13th position. So 12 started, 11 remain, and that accident might have knocked 1 or 2 of them out.
Yeah, it might have. I don't think there was too much damage to that left front of Josh Ball. Obviously, a little bit of fender damage, but I think he'll be all right to continue. But like you said, that 13 of Corey Henry just really took a hard shot to the inside wall. So not so sure about that car. He might have a lot more damage to fix here. But first caution of the night for everybody that can kind of breathe, I guess, right now, because I'm sure a lot of them were holding their breath through some of those 3 and 4 wide moments we had there. Pit road is open, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these guys head that way, and most of them do.
Pit side they come, sent the Merchant out in front of the field. Good to remain out there, but we started to see these guys really move around the racetrack, and you really saw that 4 spit out. So those that are coming in, I'm sure are going to want to take some fresh Goodyear Eagles. So they're going to be led down by Shada Bakichin. The number 1 of Machida was running in second. They'll go all the way down to the magic number 1 pit stall at the end of the pit lane. They're going to take fuel on as well, as much as they want. 2 tires. Going to go for the number 2, for the number 11 Rod Flag, and 4 tires for Shane McKeechin and everybody else.
Yeah, some damage fixed for the 4 as well, so he'll sit there on pit road for a second. The 12. He comes out. It looks like the 1 caught speeding maybe as the other drivers start to make their way around him off of pit road. So trouble right there for him. But I wouldn't say a bad call for Seth the Merchant there to stay out. I mean, this is a lot shorter of a race than these guys are used to, especially what we're going to see later on tonight, 300 miles here with the Gen 6 car. So, you know what? Hey, he's giving it a shot out there. But I think the way these guys are moving around, I wouldn't be surprised these tires wear out pretty quickly here.
The sun also bearing down on the Talladega Superspeedway. Not that hot. Track temps just at 87 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 with relative humidity at 55%. But it's not a cool evening either, so the track does have a little bit of heat in it. You're going to see these guys catch up to McKeechin. Basically, Seth the Merchant, who stays out, is going to be on no tires. You're going to have Basilia in the 2, the 11 Rod Flag on 2 tires, going to be running second, third, and then I think everybody else there on back is going to be running with 4 fresh tires. The number 12 of Christian Peterson going to be sent to the back for maybe a penalty of sorts. No, he's just going to have to slide back in behind McKeechin as the second driver off pit road with 4.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know, something's going on there with that 1. It looked like he, I don't know what he did, maybe stalled it or something coming off pit road, but either way, he's up to speed again. So we'll see what he can do with that there. But should be a fun one here to restart here, and it'll put us closer to that halfway point as well. So these guys, of course, getting it done here tonight, and a lot of guys tuning in, watching. Most of the guys that will be driving later on in the iSuperSpeedway series, and that series gets set for its chase to happen in 1 week's time. So big night here tonight for a bunch of these guys looking to get themselves in with a win. So that'll be a fun to watch later on as well. But a long race, an endurance race, so it's going to be a lot on these drivers. There's going to be some tired guys after that one. But these guys, at least right now in this race, they can have a little bit of fun because this IROC series is that's basically what it's all about. Put the best of the best together and let them go at it.
Yeah, at this point, if you run the entire distance of this IROC race, you're going to be just a sliver past 1/3 in what we're going to be seeing later on tonight here for 113 laps and 300 miles. In the Draft Art 300, the final endurance event of the regular season, the final endurance event that's going to take place here at Talladega as well on the season. The opening round of the iSuper Chase starts next Friday night. It's going to be the Daytona round. Week number 16 going to be a feature race. Week 17 going to be a cumulative race. Week 18 going to be an endurance event at Daytona following the Memorial Day off week. And then you'll go into the Talladega round back here for a feature race, a cumulative race, and then the final endurance event going to be at Daytona. So the final time we're going to be doing it upwards of 250 miles here at Talladega this season. But the Draft Art 300, one of the longest races that we see on the entire season. But I think it's also, along with the iSuperSpeedway 500 and the finale in Florida, which comes at the end of the year, I think is some of the longest running events that we've seen on the calendar. The calendar and the schedule has changed a lot in the last 2-3 seasons, and I think it's going to change a little bit more as well going forward into next championship, which basically gets kicked off right after the 4th of July weekend. But that event coming up at 10 o'clock Eastern, it's been around for a long time. I don't think it's going anywhere, and you definitely want to tune in for the Draft Art 300. Coming up next on LSRTV, following our coverage of the iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions, round at number 3. The lights off on top of the pace car. We'll get ready to go back at it. We'll put 15 laps down when we take the green.
Yeah, we will, and everybody's still on the lead lap except for Brandon Chaburko. We had that damage early on. He's 10 laps down currently, so he doesn't get to enjoy the fun that the rest of them are having right now. But Seth the Merchant will lead us back, and Frank Musilia, Rod Flagg. Rod Flagg looked very, very fast in that opening round. Looked like he could put that car wherever he wanted, and being a two-time champion, two-time defending champion of this series, I wouldn't be surprised. He's sitting about 9 points back, we said, of the championship hunt. So he needs a win here tonight, needs some points to get a jump at least for that final race that will be coming in a few weeks' time. So he's got some work to do, but he has been looking pretty sporty out there tonight.
And looks like we don't lose anybody. We mentioned Brandon Chaburko, the only driver of the 12 that took the green to fall out of this one. Everybody else has been able to get those cars fixed back up, but we are going to have a field of 11 still coming back to the green. I'm not sure how competitive Corey Henry is going to be. The 13 back end is still pretty beat up. He'll be on the inside. Curious to see how much that damage is going to affect him. You might be able to get away sometimes on the sim with that kind of damage on the back of the car, more so than the front. It'll be curious to see what happens. He is the 4th car in line on the bottom of the racetrack. Pace car second time tonight, going to dive down. Going to be the first time we come through the triangle to take the restart. American Ethanol, green flag drops again. We're back underway from Talladega.
Very good jump by that 10 on the bottom side. You got to remember, he stayed out, the only one to stay out and not take any tires. Some of these guys only took 2, so there's a little bit of difference in the strategy as well. But we got to watch Seth the Merchant, see what kind of handling he's going to have on that machine here in these opening few laps here without those fresh tires. Rod Flagg, though, to the outside. He wants to get up to the front rather quickly. And he's got Frank Basilia giving the push down the backstretch.
And they're just getting these guys up to speed. Can the 11 drop down in front of the 10? Maybe a small opportunity. hesitation, not going to let it happen. Maybe the run at a turn 4 going to be enough to get Rod Flag to the point. But again, because it's such a small field, because you can do so much with these cars, we haven't seen anybody, I don't think, lead 3 laps consecutively so far tonight. I know we saw 2 laps led consecutively at the start of the race by your 4th place starter, Josh Ball, but we're already 3 wide. The 10 going to get the advantage that time by the start-finish line, but they're already 3 wide, and keeping in mind, these are the Xfinity cars, the B cars. These guys not dropping much below 195 miles an hour in the turns and getting close to 200 on the straightaways.
Yeah, and the 3 wide action continues. The 5 now, Wofford's going to jump out to the middle lane as well. That'll put these guys a nice little swarm right there going into turn number 3. A few guys falling back off of the pace here because of some damage, not quite in this draft of the lead pack right now, but Wofford doing a good job in that middle lane with the help of that 11 in the 2. He's getting that push, keeping the race lead, at least for the time being. That top side, though, that 1 machine of Shane McKeechin, a great job by him. Look at Rod Flag now dive to the bottom for the lead.
I'm surprised the 5 didn't try to shut the door on him. Wofford still had the advantage at the start-finish line, but the 11 now on the inside lane, and with the push in the corner, going to help him get out to the point, and the 1 and the 12 on the outside really got no momentum going for him. They'll drop back, they'll slot in line, and they'll try to do it all over again. There's a couple of guys that you're seeing just outside of that battle for the race lead. The 13 and the 8 working inside the top 10 behind them. The 7 and the 6 as well drafted. 1 large pack of 11 cars within 0.8 of a second of each other. The battle for the race lead has been really amongst these 5 cars since the drop of the green flag for the first time tonight. We extinguished the yellow. We're back at it at lap number 18 next time. Going to be taking the cross flags.
Yeah, right at that halfway point for these guys. And those guys that were slipped off just a bit, the 13, the 8, the 7, the 6, they've been able to get in line, draft themselves back up to this front pack. So good job by those guys to just stay with it. Did a great job to come back up through the field. Pretty good run right there for the 7 and the 6 there on the outside. They'll make somewhat of a race there with those back 4 right now. But up front, that top line's pretty much stabilized with just those 2 cars out there. It's now the 1 of Shane McKeechin jumps to the outside to try to help them out. So does the 12, Christian Peterson. So now 4 against 3 with the top side prevailing, and we'll see what they can do off of turn number 4. They get a pretty decent run. They might lead this lap, but I don't know if they'll clear them.
The 5 looks like he'll have the advantage, but there is no opening on the inside of the racetrack, and it was side by side at the line. We crossed the halfway point. Let's take a quick peek at our iRacing.com Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with professionally organized sim racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, the IMSA, and more. Rodney Wofford on flag, Frank Basilia, Seth the Merchant, and Josh Ball run 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just behind is Shane McKeechin in 6th, 7th Christian Peterson with Matt Quick P8, 9th was Ray Rittenauer. To round out your top 10, you got Corey Henry, and then behind Chris Pacini at the back of the pack, which now going to find himself in the middle of the pack, coming out of turn number 4, P11, and then Brandon Chaverko rounds out your field in 12th position, the only driver, as we mentioned, to so far retire from this race. This time by up front, the number 2 of Basilia. Going to get his opportunity at the race lead as now 20 laps go to the books. We take 18 laps to go. This has been your iRacing.com Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com. To sign up today, you can use the LSRTV promo code by entering PR-2016 LSRTV. When you register for a new iRacing membership, you can get the late model free of charge, along with the 13 cars and 14 tracks included, with a first-time subscription. And 3 watt again.
Yeah, lots of action going on for that top spot for all those guys up inside the top 5 there. Look at the 7 and the 6. We talked about them being off the draft. They were able to get back up there. And now they're going to find themselves just outside the top 10 right now, working with that 1 of Shane McKeechin, trying to get that top side to work once again. And that top side is going to overpower for the race lead now over the 5 and the 11. It's going to send Wofford and that 11 of Rod Flag back 2 more spots as the 10 with those older tires, able to keep that momentum up. He's going to look now to the outside of Frank Basilia. They're going to split him now down the middle. They'll 3 wide for the lead.
And the 2 in the Earnhardt Sucker Hole going backwards into the middle lane. Now from that 3rd lane comes the 10 and the 12. Not enough momentum, though, despite coming down the hill and charging to get to that 5 Rodney Wofford. Wofford taking over the pace of this race into number 5 Chevrolet. Not dominating by any means, but he is on the inside, and it has been working out masterfully for him. Somebody that would take Daytona over Talladega, I think, any day of the week is doing pretty good. But Merchant had the advantage at the start. Finish on. We go on board with the number 2 Ford. It's Frank Vasili, a 3rd in line to the outside. In fact, he wants to be the lead car in a 3rd lane. He needs to convince that 7 Matt Quick behind him, and they'll make a charge down the back.
That they will, 3 wide for that 2nd spot. The 10 of Seth the Merchant out in front currently right now. He's going to drop down. That's going to leave that 12 right in the middle. He's going to leave his teammate out to dry right now. They'll still continue to battle, though. Look at him use the side draft. That 12, really nobody helping him up to his back bumper right there. But you're going to still drag race it out. 3 wide now for the race lead. Here comes a 4, Josh Ball, to give him some help. They almost go 4 wide now to the start-finish line.
3 wide, 4 wide, that's been about the norm so far this evening. And, you know, now in these big plate races, if we get down inside of 15 laps to go later on tonight, we're going to start to see these guys single file out, trying to strategize as a bobble by Peterson. Going to give up the middle for the 4 of Josh Ball, but there is no order to what is going on there. Nobody's setting anybody up. Everybody wants to lead every single lap. It's kind of hard to predict if somebody running back in 9th position is it going to be in the race lead in 2 laps from now. First time the top 5 have been single file, I think, all night long. I'm sure it's going to be short-lived, so it's kind of hard to pick and choose who you think's in a good spot here because there's just so much movement on the racetrack. The 1 and the 11 go right back to the outside as DeMerchant takes another lap ahead.
Yeah, you were saying that it wasn't going to last very long. It lasted about a quarter of a straightaway right there. Then the 1 and the 11 decided to go to the outside. They'll race side by side now through turns 1 and 2. Josh Ball in the 4 and the 2 now. Frank Busilia going to join that top side. Almost go to 3 wide now. Here goes the 11. Out to make it 3 wide for the race lead. Look at the run the 4 guy. Gave a shot to the 1 of Shane McEachin. Going to push him out ahead of everybody here. To the bottom he goes in third 3.
He had the big run, but that door was slammed shut, and he had nowhere else to go. So McEachin going to be in control. Coming at a turn 4 in the 4 machine. He wants the push with the 10 on the inside. Not sure if DeMerchant's going to commit to get to the outside lane. Now there's no room as the 4 gets to the right rear quarter panel. It was kind of interesting because you had the 5 of Wofford pushing the left rear DeMerchant, and you had the 4 Ball pushing the right rear with the number 10 Chevrolet. And luckily they didn't get into each other, but it's that kind of staggering that can lead to some of the accidents. The 1 slides up. Not entirely sure he meant to do that. The 2 all the way to the outside fence as he gets pushed from behind. 3 and possibly 4 wide down to turn number 3. The number 1 of McEachin dives to the safety of the inside lane with the momentum on the outside with the 2 of Frank Basilia as he tries to get to the point.
He does, and every time that top side, that 3rd lane gets moving, we find that 11 right there in it, and then everybody drops down a lane or 2 and gets left out there, and the momentum just gets killed for that outside lane, and you can see him have to fall back now into that 7th position currently on the speedway, but he's still in that draft, still having opportunities. They still continue to race side by side. That is for the 2nd spot. The 1 is Shane McEachin, able to hold that bottom side, at least the momentum for now. He moved up to the high side that last time. This time he doesn't. Gives the 2 the advantage. Frank Busilia now with Josh Ball, a big head of steam down the backstretch.
So Frank Basilia on the outside of the racetrack. 1 trip to victory lane so far this year in Daytona. 4th in the championship. 7 points behind the leader in the championship, Christian Peterson. In the 12th that sits just 1 car behind him to the other side of the 4 of Josh Ball. You see that 12th, 3rd in line to the top side. Winner of the 2nd race from Daytona. And the current driver that leads those championship standings. But Seth DeMerchant only 3 points off. Could benefit greatly if he can put some distance between himself and the 12 before the checkered flying tonight. The next time by going to be at 10 laps to go. And you always have to talk about caution flag procedure. At a track like a Talladega, a track like a Daytona, when this thing can bust wide open and get ugly in an instant. 5 laps to go, the magic number. We get to there, a caution flag going to end this race under caution flag conditions. You get a yellow between now and we'll say lap number 33. You'll get a chance to go back at it for at least one or two or a handful of laps before we race it out to the checkered flag. But no overtimes. You got to get your money's worth now. 10 laps to go. They're starting to beat and bang. There goes the two. Basilia, he'll self-spin to the inside of the racetrack and hard into the inside fence. He's well off the racetrack and no yellow.
Yeah, no yellow for that. Looks like just flat out lost it there, going right through the tri-oval there. And I don't know if the air got off the back end of that car or what, but he definitely lost control of it there. He's going to be out of this race now as they continue to go 3 wide. The 6 now leading that 7 car. That's Ray Rittenauer in the 6 and the 7 of Matt Quick. Those positions were swapped. Those two for the majority of this second run here since we took the green flag back over. And now they finally switched here on that top side, but you can see that top side lose its momentum once again. Rod Flag now looking for this lap lead this time. He's got that 10. Seth the Merchant giving him the push. Might not quite be enough this time at the line. It is. I think he got it just barely right there. 4/1000th of a second. That was amazing right there. Just barely got it, but it's really starting to shape up, Evan. I really think that whoever's leading that middle lane here, coming off of turn number 4 on that last lap, that's going to be the guy to watch to win this thing.
Big push on the outside, though. Rod Flag advantage the last time by, and it was just 4/1000ths of a second. We saw how close it was. Another bobble there. We're starting to see these cars move around a lot more. The bumpers line up a lot better on these Xfinity cars than they do on the Cup cars. They're still not necessarily perfect if you're talking about a Ford on a Chevrolet, like you're seeing in the case with the 12 and the 11 are on the inside, with the Toyota on a Ford, with the 4 and the 1. So they are moving around a lot. I think we saw Basilia spin after he got the left side tires on the apron, so you can still move the cars around. You got to be a little bit gentle with it, though. 3 wide in turns 1 and 2. A huge run on the outside of the racetrack. How far can Rittenauer bring it?
Well, he's got an opportunity to bring it real far right now and carry that momentum he's got with Matt Quick. They're going to take it all the way to the race lead right now as they head back into turn number 3. The 11, though, Rod Flag going to have something to say about that on the bottom side with Josh Paul giving him the push. I'm surprised that 6 left his teammate out to dry up on the high side. That's going to have to make Matt Quick fall back a few percent. Whoa, look at the move by Josh Paul now to the outside there, right in front of Ray Rittenauer. And that's going to cause a little jumble up, a little bit of a checkup, but Rod Flag continues to lead now at the stripe.
Oh, the one's going to come up the middle. That's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Big wreck. Caution flag is out at lap number 32. And I think that will give us one final restart. Rod Flag, thankful to be in front of that one. Finally, they couldn't hang on. And the number 6, pedaling on the outside of the racetrack, made up a lot of time. And it all started. He looked to the outside. The 4 came up and blocked in. The 1 trying to force the 3 wide. The lane wasn't there, but it is inside of 10 laps to go. And he hooks him in the left rear, and they take the 5, they take the 6 out, the 12, the 1, they're involved as well. Going to be a 4-car accident in turn number 1, but I got to say, Seth the Merchant somehow made it through all of that, and I have no idea how that 10's still in one piece.
Yeah, there's a few guys, the 7, I'm surprised he's still in one piece. I mean, there's a lot of drivers in that barely made it through, and that was a great piece of driving by a lot of those guys to get through that mess there. But wow, this is, you know what this is going to do, honestly, is this is going to just set up, I think, one of the best finishes we're going to see all season long. The way these guys have raced in here, and let them get all set up, get some tires on this thing, and get back into it, and I think you're going to see some incredible dash to the end of this thing.
And I think now the question is, do you come down pit road and get some fresh tires? Because DeMerchant did not. The 10 fared rather well. In fact, I know a big part of it is how aggressive these guys were driving. Seth was definitely getting at it, but he wasn't moving around as some people were. So it could be interesting. I mean, there's not, if you feel the tires are going to give you an advantage, I do it. Because, again, the field's only 9 cars deep. You can go from P1 to P9 in one lap. We'll see, though. Pit road open this time by. Rod Flag wants nothing to do with it. First driver in, going to be Shea Bakichid from 4th. Quick, Pacini, Peterson, and company down. Now that you're in, the question is, do you take 2, do you take 4?
Honestly, Evan, I don't think it matters at this point whether they stay out, come in, get tires or not get tires, get 2, get 4. It doesn't. I don't really think it matters at this point. Once we get back to racing here, they're only going to have about 2 or 3 laps to get it done anyway. So, and with the fact that there's only 10 guys on the lead lap right now, I don't think it's really going to make that big of a difference. I think for where you restart, just the way these cars have been drafted, I think you can go from 10th to 1st in about half a lap.
So Shane McKeechin is in. He gets his car patched up. Matt Quick already out of the pit lane. He did go with a 4-tire stop. The right in and out 4-tire stop as well. So those with clean race cars get the 4 tires. I'm extremely curious to see how much of an advantage that's going to give them and if it's worth giving up. Very limited spots. They do sacrifice. A couple of guys going to stay down pit road for a little bit extra as they get those cars repaired. Some people were still running with damage earlier on, that they sustained rather earlier on in this race. So we paced at what's going to be the final yellow flag in this race. We'll take a quick opportunity to step away and go LSRTV non-stop so you don't miss a moment of the action. And when we come back, Rod Flag, 2-time and defending IROC champion, looks to put himself in a spot for the 3-peat in his penultimate round in the IROC 4 championship. He'll lead it to the final restart when we come back. We're back live from the Talladega Superspeedway. You're watching LSRTV's continuing coverage of the 2016 iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series Race of Champions. It's round number 3 of 4 in this 4th championship year. Through 3 seasons, we have seen 2 different drivers take home the IROC championship. Opening season went to Greg Hooks. Rod Flag has since taken it in the last 2 seasons. In season 2 by 4 points, last year by just 1, is in an excellent position coming into tonight's race down the ladder in the number 7 spot and 9 points back to make up some of those points right now. But the probability of him leading these 3 laps is very slim. The ultimate goal, doesn't matter what happens between now and then, lead lap number 38. We're going to come at a turn at number 4 in just a moment. Right here, and we're going to go back at it for the final time tonight. The pace car going to go down. We'll have lap 36, 37, and 38. Going to be 3 laps to go. A caution before the white flag. Going to end this race at the moment of the yellow. Flag on the inside of the front row. Josh Ball on the outside of the front row. DeMerchant, Henry, Quick, Passini, Peterson, Bakichin, and Basilia on the lead lap. Green flag flies and 3 laps to go.
Good jump right there for the 11. Look at the 2 already trying to make it 3 wide now to the inside of the 12. They're going to make contact. And there they go around. Hopefully that doesn't bring out the caution. There's nobody behind them, so it shouldn't. We should stay green flag racing, but I'll blame that on the 2. He made a bold move there off the start there, and it just cost him.
It didn't work. A little bit of words exchanged with Christian Peterson. Basilia ends up hard in the outside wall. Thankfully, no caution to flag. I'm sure Rod Flag would have taken it because they're teaming up on him outside lane. DeMerchant with a push from the 4 of Josh Ball. They're coming hard out of turn 4, and Rod Flag's got no pusher. He's going to lose the lead.
Yeah, he's going to lose the lead. His help is just too far back right now. 4 cars on the top, 2 on the bottom. Not going to get it done here. Seth the Merchant going to lead this lap. Josh Ball with the push. The 13 of Corey Henry looking to make something happen. He stays on the outside. He's got the help of Chris Bassini now in that 8 car to try to give him an advantage with 2 laps to go as they exit turn number 2. Seth the Merchant, he's leading the way, but that outside line, they're going to get a run here.
The 4 looks to the inside. He looks to the outside. How about the 13 of Corey Henry? Backed it in hard into the inside fence at the midway point in this one. Heavy right rear damage. He's up there. He's in the battle, but I think the damage is holding him and the 8 off. Chris Bassini might have to jump ship if he wants an opportunity. Penultimate time coming out of turn number 4 to the outside. The 4 fakes. He can't do it. Here comes Rod Flag to the white flag.
Rod Flag using the outside lane. That's probably where he's got to be. That's probably where he should stay right now. He's got the 13 and the 8 behind him. This is where the 13 will be effective. I think the damage will be fine as long as he stays behind somebody. You saw him fall back with that 8 not too long ago. I think that damage was just too much for him to lead a lane. But look at them, these guys now down the back straightaway. Rod Flag looking to get the job done, but Seth the Merchant holding on to the lead into turn 3.
Rod Flag had it by 3/1000ths of a second at the white flag, but he doesn't have a push. He's going to get turned into turn number 3. The 13, the 11, the 7. They'll slip and slide in 3 and 4. They're going to hang on. It's going to be a 2-horse race to the checkered flag. Seth the Merchant, the 4 of Josh Ball, who's not going to be close enough to strike, and Seth the Merchant all the way home. Checkered flag. The first win on the year for Seth the Merchant, winner of the 3rd race of the IROC 4 Championship.
Yeah, great one right there for him. And for Rod Flag, he'll pick up some points on our leader of Christian Peterson, but it won't be many. It would have been more if he could have gotten up there and got the lead. Just made some contact there in 3 and 4 and cost him his opportunity for the win here. But how about that 10? Seth the Merchant, one of the hottest drivers over the course of the last 2 seasons, winning, of course, the iSuperSpeedway Series Championship. Now he gets himself an IROC win here tonight at Dega.
And an exciting one for Seth the Merchant, because I mentioned only 3 points behind his teammate Christian Peterson, who comes home at 8th position. That might just be enough to put Seth the Merchant into the IROC Championship lead going into the final round, which still a little bit of ways down the calendar. Coming up next month on the 24th at Daytona for the final one. But Seth the Merchant coming in clutch here tonight and put himself in prime position to be the 3rd driver to take home an IROC Championship. But you saw how quickly the tides changed in 3 laps there, and that championship standing, if he does have the lead, which we assume he will, not going to be very large at all, and he cannot sit back by any means. But he breaks through and gets his first win on the IROC 4 Championship. He burns it down on the front straightaway. And, well, we await Tim down in Gatorade Victory Lane. We'll take this opportunity, step away one more time, and when we return in just a moment, we'll talk to your top finishers in the LSRTV post-race show, and we'll get you set for the Draft Heart 300 next at LSRTV. Welcome back to Talladega, Alabama's Talladega Super Speedway, the site of the third race on the fourth season for the iSuperSpeedway Race of Champions, now drawing to a close with Seth the Merchant walking away with the win tonight. Let's take a quick peek at your LSRTV full race results. Seth the Merchant coming home with the win. Josh Ball going to come home to him in second, with Corey Henry third. Chris Mazzini, solid result, P5, and Rod Flagg going to make up a little bit of ground in the championship, not as much as he would have liked, Andy, with the P5.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Matt Quick, a solid run for him, sitting in that sixth spot. Seventh went to Shane McEachin. Christian Peterson, our points leader coming into the night, finished at eighth. Ninth goes to Frank Basilia. Rodney Wofford, 6 laps down, will round out our top 10. 11th goes to Ray Rittenauer, and Brandon Chaburko comes home in 12th, and that'll round out our 12-car field we had here tonight. And now we'll send it down. I think Evan is caught up now with our winner down in Victory Lane.
Seth the Merchant getting the job done, going to put himself in a prime position to take an IROC championship in a couple of weeks' time. Winner tonight at the Talladega Super Speedway. Seth, congratulations to you. Coming to the white flag, 3/1000ths of a second behind the race lead. And next thing you know, normally the inside is considered the safe place to be, and I think that was true in this one because they all started record behind you in turn 3, and then that 4 with a little bit of damage just couldn't get back to you.
Yeah, I thought the top almost, Rod actually was going to get me there. He had really good help, and usually I think the top in these B cars that we're running now in the IROC, the top seems to be the best lane because you get the side draft off the bottom and you can just shoot by the inside if you do the side drafting right. So I thought I was in the worst position, and then when Ball got clear, then I was just ready to block coming to the line.
And you mentioned the new cars tonight. We did change from those COTs now to the Xfinity Series cars, the B cars. A lot of 3-wide. We saw 4-wide a couple of times tonight. How different are these than the cars that you guys have been used to in the series?
A lot different because these ones, they have a lot more suck up to them. You can use all 3, sometimes 4 lanes to go where you want, whereas in the COT that we ran in the series before, you know, you could only use basically the bottom and the middle, and you couldn't really use the third lane at all because it just wouldn't move. But in the B car, the side draft is so strong that you can just get a massive run and just shoot to the lead, as it happened a couple times tonight in the race.
So we look forward now, still a little ways out, and obviously, we make a big step in a championship hunt for the ISS side of things here in just a couple of, just about an hour or so. We get the final race of the regular season out of the way. But now you look forward, knowing how this race was, how do you have to drive that final race, almost having to play defense with your points there, going in as the top seed in the championship into the final IROC event at Daytona in a couple of weeks?
I think I'm just going to basically play it safe in the back and wait for the first wreck to happen, because with the kind of racing you have in these B cars, there's bound to be a big wreck at least once in the race, and then after that I'm just going to go for it, because I think tonight I should have like a 9 or an 8-point lead over second, so I can be pretty careful here.
Well, it was an exciting race to say the least. I think making the change, obviously, to with the circumstances, however, changing to these B cars is going to keep this IROC series exciting for a good amount of time. And it was an exciting race, and I think if in your favor, a rather anticlimactic result. Cruise it across the line to get the win, Seth. Before we let you go, sponsors, shout-outs, all those good folks who makes it happen.
Just got to thank P-Money Designs and Rod for putting on the league.
That's your winner tonight at the Talladega Super Speedway. Seth the Merchant, sir, thanks for sticking around and chatting with us. Good luck. We'll see you in an hour right back here.
Thank you.
He comes home atop the pile. Behind him in second, just not enough horsepower to get across the start-finish line there to catch him at the end, Andy. And I'll say that it's because he was in a Ford, but we'll leave that conversation till later. Josh Ball comes home second tonight, 1/10 of a second off. You're with him.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked about the car choice there by the number 4, but Josh Ball, whether it's a Chevy or a Ford, you still had a solid run here tonight. How much fun was it? Because it was fun for us to watch, but how much fun was it driving those cars here tonight?
Man, that was real fun. Yeah, that was great compared to the last couple of IROC races. We just changed cars, and I can't tell you, that was 3-wide action most of the night. We went 4-wide there that one time, and man, it was great.
Yeah, it was. I counted more than once in the four wide action, but anyway, maybe you were in four wide once. But yeah, some great racing here tonight. Obviously, changing up the cars right in the middle of it. A lot of guys wanted to see that 260 miles an hour with the Gen 5 cars, but with that, it just probably wouldn't have. I don't think it would have led to as fun of or as much fun racing as we saw here tonight in this car. And you guys really put on a show here tonight, but. You got one more week left to do it to try to get something accomplished as far as the championship battle for this goes on. Obviously, you're out of that picture basically with this one race left to go, even though with the strong finish here tonight. But knowing what this car can do, how's it going to be at Daytona compared to Talladega?
Oh well, it's going to be pretty good. I hope at least. Hopefully, we'll stay in this car. Yeah, like you said, the 260 miles an hour, that would have been fun, but I feel like it would have pushed the line and might have led to, single file racing and just pretty much hitting the wall or beating that down. So glad we got out there tonight, and Rod changed it up, which was a good call on his part. And, man, we had a lot of fun out there. 3-4 wide racing, like I said, and, we got in that one wreck. It felt like it just all of a sudden just no air was on the car at all, and tried to save it and wasn't able to bring it back in, and unfortunately, I think got somebody, but luckily we were able to get back up there and get the damage fixed. We didn't really have that much, but yeah.
Well, a great second place finish here tonight. Obviously, big doings here coming up in about an hour. You got the endurance event here at Talladega. 113 laps, 300 miles. What's it going to take to win a race like that?
It's going to take a lot of luck. That's the first thing. Second, probably going to take a lot of good teammates. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of green flag pit stops. We've been doing a lot of green flag racing here lately, so we're doing a lot of pit stops, and hopefully that'll be a factor in it. And honestly, getting on and off pit road is a big thing. So getting down and getting the pit crew going, and that'll probably be the biggest thing to get the 48 Chevrolet tonight.
Well, there you have it. Second place finisher, Josh. Congratulations again, and we'll see you in about an hour.
Thanks, guys.
Well, there you go. Josh Ball now second place finish, and I believe Evan now is caught up on pit road with our third place finisher.
Yeah, we'll let him go search for the bow tie. In the meantime, caught up with the third place finisher tonight, Corey Henry, who comes home in the number 3rd position. And we had a conversation talking up here about how much damage would affect that number 13 machine. The right rear, not much left of it, but he comes home in 3rd tonight and caught up with him down trackside now. Corey, congratulations to you, man. Talk us through, though, after you backed that car into the inside fence, what it was like from there on out, and what did you expect to get out of that damaged race car?
I got to give all the credit to Chris Passini. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even finish in the top 10. I'd probably just rode around and finished 11th and just pulled it into the pits. It's pretty badly damaged. Didn't have any speed. I think the top was 168 by myself. So all credit goes to Chris Passini for being a good teammate, sticking with me all the way till the end, and keeping me up with the pack.
New race cars for the IROC Series debuted tonight. What kind of grade would you give these things? It looked fun out there.
I'd give it an A+. iRacing's draft package with the Xfinity cars is about as fun as you can have on a super speedway right now. You can make your own moves. You have to have a car behind you to do anything, but you can really suck up if you're by yourself. You don't really necessarily lose the pack as you do in the Cup car. So it was fun to get out here with the top 12 drivers in iSuperSpeedway, and A+.
So now we go from 38 laps here in these Xfinity cars to 113 laps here in the Cup cars. What are the biggest changes other than the distance?
Well, we're going to have to go back towards handling with the Cup car. With the Xfinity cars, everything's pretty neutral except for a few times going through the trouble there. It got a little loose on the back end. But with the Cup car, I believe we're going to have to watch going through the trouble on the bottom. It's going to get pretty loose. Hopefully, in the long run, it doesn't get too tight. So handling's going to play a big factor in the Cup race. My plan is probably just to ride out in the back and not get up to the front too soon. It's probably going to be pretty crazy after about 10 to 15 laps of green flag racing. But we're looking forward to it.
We'll wish you the best of that one. Going to be a lot more cars on track, so it's going to be treacherous for sure. But second IROC start on the year, a much better result than what you guys got in Daytona. You're on the podium tonight. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, once again, got to give a big credit to Chris Piscini for helping me stay up to the front. Can't ask for any more. I want to thank everybody else at Dark Horse, Rodney, Derek, Greg, and Miss Piscini. And we're going to head off into Cup race and hopefully get a good finish there. I want to thank all you guys for doing what you do and making the races more entertaining to watch throughout the week. And we'll see you in the next one.
I would counter that and say that you guys are the one that makes it exciting. But we appreciate you sticking around and chatting with us, Corey. Again, congratulations and good luck. Hopefully we'll talk with you later on tonight.
Yep, thank you.
So that is your third place finisher in tonight's IROC race number 3. Corey Henry comes home at a podium. Josh Ball just to the front in second. And then Seth the Merchant as your winner. And the championship standings going to look quite different going into that final race, which you can find right here on LSRTV for the IROC 4 season finale on the 24th of June. And that's also going to be when you're getting right down to crunch time in the championship. Also for the ISS side of things, which is going to be going on for the next 1 or 2 months. But tonight, a big night because the Draft Heart 300 is next. Andy Kessler, longest race at Talladega on the season, longest standing endurance event at Talladega on the year. The final endurance race at Talladega and the final regular season event before we go iSuper Chase racing for I think now a 4th time with the Chase format, but for the 6th time we'll battle for an iSuperSpeedway championship.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Obviously, tonight set up a pretty good finish that we'll have in a few weeks here with the IROC Series race as well. But tonight, this 113 laps, I mean, this is a huge test to a lot of these guys. Just stamina, I mean, just having to focus for that long and being on your marks for your pit road stops. You're on and off pit road. Josh Ball mentioned how important that was, and we all know how important it is. We see it every time we come to these super speedways, how many guys win and lose these races because of pit road. So with that amount of laps in the race, I expect a lot of green flag pit stops, and I expect a lot of guys making mistakes, maybe even getting on there and probably hoping for a caution to bunch everything back up. But you never know what we're going to expect in that one. But definitely a true test. Plus for those guys that are basically not in contention points-wise to get into the chase, they have an opportunity, one last opportunity to get a win here tonight and get themselves locked in so they can go battle for that championship next week.
It's time to go or go home. You're not going to want to miss that one coming up in just about 45 minutes right here on LSRTV and iRacing Live. But until then, we'll step away for the moment from Talladega and await the final race of the IROC Championship next Friday. The Ride Car Truck Tour get a return as they close in on a championship fight as well. We want to thank you for tuning in for the opening part of tonight's 2-race double feature. It's iRacing Live primetime LSRTV coverage, and the best is still yet to come. So we hope to see you later on this evening. And until next time, we want to thank you all and do want to congratulate Seth the Merchant for getting the W here tonight on behalf of everybody behind the scenes and on the broadcast team at LSRTV. For myself, Evan Pasoko, for Andy Kessler, and for Francisco Scarbuz, I want to thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in just a moment. The Draft Heart 300 is next, right here on LSRTV, the voice of sim racing. This copyrighted broadcast is presented on the authority of LSRTV, LLC, and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. It may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form, nor the accounts and descriptions of this event disseminated in any way without the express written permission of Live Sim Racing TV. LSRTV would like to thank its loyal fans for their continued support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.